Hello team, welcome back to another line warcast. Here's your map. 3 gases in a city on the bottom right, a little city on this island, a trade route. Dåseåbneren, our player in red, is spawning right here. And I believe the translation here is something along the lines of notorious nubs. So we're going to call them nubs. Blue is nubs. They're in the bottom right. Unfortunately, like a little bit sandwiched in the corner here. And they're backing up because they see that Dåseåbneren's right here. And while being cornered, going for the 3 industry town start and 2 barracks. This is very greedy. 3 barracks. This is wild. So with the players so close, this is a very interesting start, because Dåseåbneren can't see any of the buildings yet, but going for 2 factories, an airport, and 2 barracks to start off the game. So red is going to have a lot more units in play than blue could have. Right? 3 barracks versus this much production and all these econ units. Red can also expand. Dåseåbneren definitely can expand, right? Like, and this is exactly what's kind of happening. 1 crew on the left is going to expand here. The rest are going to go forward. 272 income for Dåseåbneren and 383 for Nubs, which is a little bit misleading because Nubs went for this industry town start. So they don't really get the return on investment quite yet. It takes about 7 minutes in general for economy buildings to pay off. Dåseåbneren is going for a barracks in the northern forest, which I love. This is going to help cap a lot of the north. And Nubs is going for a factory. Definitely having a factory at this point is really nice. Nubs still can't see what Dåseåbneren went for, but being this close to your opponent, I mean, for one, props to Nubs for even going for economy here. I would never go for economy if someone spawned this close to me. I'd be way too afraid. But following up with the factory and another barracks, I mean, in general, maybe if Nubs can defend this and hold on to this econ lead, then they might be in a good position. I mean, really, Dåseåbneren's only back capping with 1, kind of 2 squads and a barracks. So maybe over time Dåseåbneren will actually be able to cap more anyway. But we'll see. 455 income for Nubs, 344 for Dåseåbneren. Nubs is going for another barracks. I like this. I don't... Dåseåbneren might be actually be able to take one out. Like, take one of these production buildings out. Take one out. Take one of them out here. Because there's 2 artillery pieces. There's a lot of infantry for Nubs, but there's enough infantry for Dåseåbneren that they'll probably be able to keep the infantry off of the artillery. First striker for Dåseåbneren went out. I guess it went here to kind of scout this. With 2 strikers, if Dåseåbneren starts clicking on these different buildings to target fire them down, it could be huge. Red is clearly taking fire. There's a lot of infantry still. But look at these 2 artillery pieces in the back that are not getting attacked by infantry at all. They're just able to sit back there and provide constant DPS. As this right flank kind of dries up, or like as Nubs overwhelms it, this many infantry could get on top of the artillery, which could be a problem for Dåseåbneren. And Blue's following it up with another barracks. I almost feel like it would have been better to go for a factory to add a little bit more beef, because this is a lot of artillery. I'm never against adding barracks though. Adding barracks is also good. This is a ton of artillery though. And I don't think there's really going to be an answer for this from blue. Red is following the build up with another barracks while capping in the north. Blue is going to go for a factory, a second factory. I like this. I definitely like this. It's very close to the front lines, but it probably will be able to get up in time. The artillery is going to move slower through the forest. We can see in the tooltip that units move slower through forest, especially if it's uncontrolled territory. So because red does not own this territory, it's going to take them a while to actually get on top of these production buildings. So maybe blue will be able to dig in. It's exactly what Nubs is doing here. 2 artillery almost dug in. This first one's already started to fire. Dug in artillery has slightly higher range than if you aren't dug in, which is good for the defending unit. It helps, you know, it obviously bolsters the defense if you can shoot first before your opponent can shoot. I like that there's a retreat line on the right side of these barracks for Nubs to get around all this artillery. Certainly fighting through the artillery is not going to work, or it's going to be very cost ineffective. So going around the top could be a cool play to get on top of the airport. I'm not sure if Nubs sees that there's an airport though. I don't know what this means when the replay has, like, the parts of the forest are just squares. So maybe that does mean that Nubs can see it. I think they should be able to see it. Another factory for Nubs. I like the fact that there's 3 factories. This is very close to the front lines though. This other factory that was built at this position is only getting the first artillery piece out now. But maybe with this defensive position, it's going to be enough. This defensive artillery is going to be able to do a lot. As long as there's infantry that keeps the red infantry off of the artillery. Income check is very important. 515 for Nubs. 452 for Dåseåbneren. But I think Dåseåbneren is in a way better position. There's also higher tech for Dåseåbneren. Going for the strikers hitting this town is what I mean by this. There's no SAMs yet for blue. So Nubs isn't going to be able to defend these strikers as well. I mean, at all, really. And the top factory for Dåseåbneren over time is going to give a lot of income. Because Nubs, again, is unfortunately cornered a little bit here. It's maybe even why Nubs went for Econ very quickly. Because if you're cornered, maybe the play is to go for Econ. I mean, certainly it's not just to, like, leave. 494 income for Nubs. 464 for red. And it's 9 minutes into the game, so I don't even think... I'm not even sure if this paid for itself. The town that was just lost. There's 3 artillery that are dug in for Nubs at this point. Which is good, and is gonna... It's very strong to deal with all the rest of Red's artillery in the forest. They're kind of derping right now, though. They're getting out of this artillery, or this entrenchment, and spinning around, just moon gliding their ass around to fire at these artillery. Now they're going, so they're gonna be able to clean this up. I mean, that's good. That's gonna at least stall. There's still 5 strikers for red. Dåseåbneren has that lead with 2 artillery on the right side. I think they're gonna be able to clean it up. Definitely forgot that Dåseåbneren doesn't have a gas. It's being built on the left side, but until that's ready, these planes are not gonna be able to fly, which is huge for blue. Personally, like, when I play, I always forget about gas. Understated part of the game. Red's or blue's starting to get a good artillery lead here. There's 9 pieces, artillery pieces for blue at this point. Only 4 for Dåseåbneren. I think the game starts to swing again once these planes can fly, which is right now. The gas is up and building. The planes are going to be able to defend these units, get rid of these units. They're trying to make a breakout. I like that Nubs is going for that breakout. That's a very smart move. If blue could get these units even over here, anywhere to the right side, they could make another base and start getting economy where Dåseåbneren is not expecting it. It's a pretty big military from blue in this forest. But there's no SAMs with it. There's no SAMs from Nubs yet. The first SAMs are on the way. There's actually pretty impeccable timing on building SAMs now that there's such a enormous amount of artillery. This is definitely enough artillery to be able to deal with pretty much anything that your opponent could throw at you. There's no way that Dåseåbneren's going to magically show up with as many artillery pieces as you when you can see everything and you can see how many factories there are. It's a very strong push as long as these strikers don't get to kill everything. Everything. Still no SAMs out, so by the time the strikers launch the first time, there'll probably be 2 out. And hopefully for Nubs, there's going to be even more out by the time the strikers launch a second time, because otherwise these strikers can do a lot of damage. Because there's a lot of artillery in this army. The last patch hit such that strikers don't do as much damage to infantry with their missiles, but for artillery I think they still do just as much. You can see that on the first pass on the right side, the red strikers were able to kill 2 artillery pieces from blue. 2 SAMs moving forward and an attack move from Nubs. This is definitely bold. Because once these SAMs are gone, these strikers get free reign all the time. Luckily for Nubs, that one of the SAMs survives. This is a good push, but it almost feels like a situation where blue's gonna get pushed back and then it's gonna be devastating. It's definitely a kind of go for it moment. And really, maybe being in the corner, it's important to just go for this. Nubs is at 494 economy and Dåseåbneren's at, what did I just see, 608. So maybe this is the play. Nubs is going for the airport, try to snipe it. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it. The airport definitely has a lot of damage to it. But the production to the south of the airport is going to be able to delay the rest of the artillery pieces. It certainly would be big for Nubs to snipe this airport. At this point, it doesn't really look like the infantry are going to be able to do it. Yeah, I mean, there's like 10 red infantry. Super unfortunate for Nubs. Nubs has 5 SAMs. Somehow, I don't even know where these came from, and tanks on the way for blue. Looking at the rest of the map, there's still nothing on the bottom right, but Dåseåbneren has most of the North Island, at least the northwest. 2 tanks, I like this play. 3 tanks rather, I super like this play. So I'm just probably thinking that there's economy in the back. That must be the reason that they're going to the back like that. Luckily for them, they're gonna catch these tanks, and the strikers will attack the tanks and at least soften them up. Tanks actually do shoot at planes on the move. It's a hilarious thing to see. I'm still waiting for the replay where a tank like last hits a striker while on the move shooting from its turret. I like the idea of these tanks, but It's really just unlucky for Nubs that the strikers kind of launched into this. Because if the tanks could get around and get on top of the airport, they could definitely kill the airport pretty quick. Another barracks from Nubs. I don't know if it's gonna matter at this point though. 494 income for Nubs and 728 for Dåseåbneren, who's capped the rest of this. Yeah, this is. I feel like this is just one of those games in Line War which is very classic, in that what you just end up spawning in a position where you're kind of cornered. And by like 15 minutes, 20 minutes into the game, if there's no economic expansion and this phase of the game stops, like it slows down and then you get into a freeze, you're just, unfortunately, like it's over. Because Red's income is so much higher than Blue's now. Really, Dåseåbneren could keep capping in the north. This barracks is great. And just start putting down factories and crush this. And keep running these striker missions to the right side. So this is the answer. It's gonna turn into a stalemate in front of all the producers. And both armies are gonna kind of swing to the right here. And fight in the fields. It's really too bad. I don't know how it would have happened. Maybe even like an island? Nah. An island bridge. I don't know what Blue could do. Or could have done better. I still really like these tanks. Nubs is running out of gas. That's what that bleeping noise is. Yeah, and there's no gas. There's no possible gas to get. So now the army just becomes Artillery Sam. Since those are the only factory units that don't need gas. Oh, that's unfortunate. There's enough units around that Red could clean that up. And now it's just a push. It's weird. It's interesting. Like, I think it's important for Nubs to be able to get to this island and this far right island at some point, like earlier, but I don't know if a dock would have helped at an airport, like maybe an airport with commandos. Interesting. Interesting to think about. But well played. Where are these strikers go? How are their boats? Wait, what? What is this? So Dåseåbneren is going all the way around the back to snipe that industry. This is probably just like an accidental command. I do it all the time, where I'll try to change a command and then I accidentally click on the water. It just draws a circle. I don't know if it happens to other people, but it certainly happens to me. Anyway, this is definitely over. Good game. I'll give the spiel now. Check out the Line War Discord if you want to learn more about the game. Talk to people who know about the game. Ask questions, what have you. Check out Twitch if you want to see people stream the game. I do. Dåseåbneren actually does as well. I believe it's the exact same. No, it's Blyant Games. B-L-Y-A-N-T Games. I spelled that right. On Twitch, they stream Line War. Other folks do too. Check out the category. Come say what's up. We'll see you later. Enjoy your day, night, evening, whatever it is. Thank you so much. Peace, folks.